Coastline Farms. My name is Jade. So today, well, as you can see, well, I don't even know where to start. So let's just start with Farm Week. So let's start with Farm Week, and then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing in this video. So Farm Week was a hit, and you know, I was kind of bummed out with myself because I did not take as many pictures and videos as I wanted to show you how it went. But we had so much fun, so much family came out. We ended up not having the baby shower here, which was fine because we were super busy, but it was fantastic. Everyone harvested something, and pickles, tomatoes, cucumbers and tomatoes, and obviously zucchini. And yeah, everyone had a great time. We did spend a lot of time, majority of the time, swimming, because let me tell you guys, it has been hot, just super hot. And I know this has been going around and everyone's feeling the same thing. The heat is a killer. And so, you know, yeah, we just spent time in the pool. It has been probably, let's see, over 100 degrees every single day. You know, last week was over 100 degrees every single day. This week is in the high 90s, but the mornings have been pretty cool. So the mornings have been like really nice, 60, 70 degrees, and then it starts heating up later on in the day. Yeah, but it's been getting just uncomfortable. So the garden has been taking a beating with the heat. The cucumbers have slowly been kind of withering away. They're not producing as many cucumbers as they were when, you know, earlier in the season, but the heat has just been rough on some of these plants, especially the cucumbers and the squashes. The tomatoes have been also kind of, you know, they're looking a little rough. Some of them, the indeterminate tomatoes, which I'll show you in a little bit, are just looking like they're ready to come out. So as you can see, I pulled out some of the cucumbers over here because on the other side there are some cucumber plants that are still producing cucumbers. So I just kind of left those in there, and then I'm going to sow some more cucumber seeds so that way we can get another round of cucumber, because our next frost, I guess our frost date is December 15th. So we still have a few more days to plant some cucumber, and I'm going to use the same variety that I used on the front one, except for, let's see here, I'm going to use Burpees instead of Lake Valley Seed Company, because I ran out of those seeds. So with the Burpees, this is a Burpees cucumber pickler, and this one is a 53 days to harvest. So we have plenty of time before the first frost date to harvest some more cucumbers. This is going to be exciting. So I already amended the soil, and and the next batch of cucumber is going to be the cucumber homemade pickles by the Botanical Interest. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in a few seeds in here, and yeah, and hopefully we'll get some more cucumber. Now, I know I said I'm going to trellis it. I'm just going to go ahead and put some tomato cages on around these seeds, because that's what I have. I have a bunch of, you know, just tomato cages. And I've never bought a tomato cage. They've just kind of been here on the farm. And yeah, I've just been utilizing them when I need them. But I feel like in the fall, I'm going to really re-level these beds and put some cattle panel up, or some, you know, some fencing across, so that way next year when I'm ready to plant my tomatoes and my cucumbers, I'll be able to trellis them, because that's what I want to do next year. It just seems so much cleaner to have things trellised up and off the ground than to have everything on the ground and then having to, you know, just forage for your food. So with that being said, let's start planting some seeds. I'm going to start first with the cucumber by Botanical Interest. All right, so now we're gonna do these burpees. And I don't have that many burpee seeds, so I'm just going to use them all. But we are in deep with the tomatoes. And let me tell you, I have been doing so much research on how to can and how to process the tomatoes. And you know, wow, there's just so many different videos, so much information out there. So what I ended up going to was a page called the USDA Guide to Canning. And it's online. You could print it up. It's free. So instead of, you know, going through all the books and all that stuff, I just went straight to the USDA canning site. And that way, I know we still have the roosters. And that way I could know the right way to can these foods. And then I've been looking at different ways to make spaghetti sauce. And again, there's so many different ways to make spaghetti sauce also. And you know, I want to utilize the whole tomato. I don't want to have to, there's just so many recipes. So there's recipes that you blanch them and then you remove the skin, because what happens is the skin, I guess, is supposed to make the, it's not as sweet. So if you remove the skin from your tomatoes, it'll make the tomato sauce a little sweeter. But then again, there's a ton of nutrition in the tomato skins. So what I ended up doing, and I've done a couple different recipes. The first one, yeah, I boiled the, I guess I not sauteed them. I just put all the tomatoes in a big pot and I stirred it up, and it ended up becoming, it never got thick. It ended up becoming like tomato broth. So I jarred that up, canned that up. And then my second one was I put everything in a crock pot: zucchini, cucumber, onion, all of the spices, oregano, some basil, and some Italian seasoning, and what else? And salt. And I simmered it overnight, and then in the morning time I ended up scooping it out and putting it into a blender and blending it up, and then heating it again, putting it into the jars, and then canning, putting the jars into a water bath. And that has to be by far the easiest way to make spaghetti sauce, at least for me. And it actually tastes really good. I didn't have to strain out, take any of the skins off. I put the seeds, everything into the crock pot. With the zucchini, I put some bell peppers in there, just a whole bunch of vegetables, and then pureed it in a blender and then put it in the jar. So that has to be by far the easiest. And I did look up a couple other, you know, websites, recipes for spaghetti sauce. And there was another one that she did exactly the same way, but she removed the skin. Yeah, I'm not removing the skin any longer. I'm just going to, yeah, use all of it. Why not? If you can eat it, might as well use all of it, and there's no need to waste anything. I mean, granted, I don't waste anything. Everything that we have goes straight to the chickens or the goat, so we don't waste anything. And we kind of, if none of the food goes bad, we either give it away to our guys, or we cook it, freeze it, and we give it to the chickens. That website was a game changer for me, because I just want to make sure that when I can something, that I'm canning it properly and canning it so it's safe. So it's safe for us to put on the shelf, or safe for us and yeah, to consume. So yeah, so let me just go ahead and give you a tour of the garden, since it's been a while since I've given you a tour. And some things are dying off, some things are still flourishing. So let's just go ahead and start with this cucumber patch. Obviously I planted some seeds, and the cucumbers have been doing super well. All right, so here is what is left of the cucumber patch. And it's actually still doing really, really well. It's still producing quite a few cucumber, not as many as it was in the beginning, but I'm still picking at least a dozen, which is awesome. And I know it's gonna slowly slow down and that's why I started some more seeds. So over here in this box right here, we have some red onion, and then I have a tomato sucker that I popped into the soil, and it actually growing finally some tomatoes. Look at that. I don't know if you could see that right there. But yeah, it's finally growing some tomatoes, and it did not have tomatoes on there for some time, so I'm excited about that. Now, the blueberry bush, has not produced any blueberries, but it is my first year having that blueberry, so maybe next year might be better. And I think I might move it to a shadier spot, because I think it's just too sunny out here for it. Now over here we have the Johnny Select Seeds zucchini, which has not disappointed. We are still harvesting a ton of zucchini from this bundle and from the bundle in the front. They're actually producing more zucchini now, which is awesome. Okay, over here we have our Determinate Burpees VF. I have been harvesting quite a few tomatoes from this tree, this bush, and it is just looking so sad. Like, the leaves are not looking good. It's just not looking nice at all. Yeah, I'm sure it's not doing well in the heat. I still have not sprayed any pest insecticide or anything onto the garden, just because yeah, I just haven't. I mean, it looks rough, but yeah, I just kind of let it go. So this is how this is looking. I mean, there's still a ton of tomatoes and they're still turning red. So I'm just gonna keep it until it's done and over with. So now over here we have our botanical interest. I believe this one is Roma tomatoes, San Marzanos. And look at that, it is huge. Now it has fallen over, and that's why next year I'm going to trellis. Yeah, so there's just so many, and I know next time, because this is the most tomatoes I have ever planted, and they just gotten so big. My other tomatoes have never gotten this big before, so I'm so excited. I've always seen people's tomatoes online, and they're just so huge, and I was thinking, gosh, why couldn't my tomatoes get that big? And now they're crazy. So over here we have these cucumbers, and I'm getting some cucumbers. Now the cucumbers do not look really nice at all. They're just kind of yellowing, and oh, I did find out what was eating our plants. Snails. We have snails. I saw a little tiny slug on there, and I know you can put copper. They buy these little copper things that you can put into the soil. There are also granules. There's just so many things you could use to combat slugs. I have yet done that. It's not that I don't want to or I'm being lazy. It's just that, yeah, I don't want to put pesticides in the garden. And like I said, I did get one from the store called Dr. Earth, and I'm gonna read up on it because it looks like it has only natural oils in it to combat any type of pest. So we'll see if I use it or not. But this is how those cucumbers are doing, and I'm still getting little cucumbers. I have pickled quite a few cucumbers, and that has been, I mean, just awesome. I love it. So over here we have our sun golds, and our sun golds are still producing a ton of sun golds. I just can't wait till next year when I get the cattle panels up so it looks a little cleaner. I hate it when it looks unruly like this. Just yeah, it's just nuts. Okay, so the lemongrass is still growing profusely. Oh, and the basil, look at that. All that basil right there. I've been using all of this basil to put in the spaghetti sauce, and it has been so delicious. Okay, over here we have all of our bell pepper. Our bell peppers have been producing so many bell pepper. I mean, they're just huge. So some of them are not, because I just harvested a bunch of them, some of them are just not ready to be picked yet. But we do have a ton of banana peppers that can be picked now. Now, I did not start enough banana peppers to pickle a whole lot of them. So what I've been doing is I have been saving them so I could put them into the in with the pickles. So when I start using the cucumbers and pickling the cucumbers, I throw a couple of these banana peppers in there. And we have not tried it yet, so I don't know how it's going to taste, but we'll see. So yeah, these have been doing so well. I'm so happy with the amount of bell peppers we've been getting, and all I've been doing is chopping it up and freezing it. And then that way when we need to use it, then we'll have it and it's ready to go to just put into anything. You could put it into quiches, omelets, spaghetti sauce. Oh, and that's another thing. I've been putting these in the spaghetti sauce when I make spaghetti sauce. All right, so over here we have the ginger, and the ginger has been doing so well. I just cannot wait to see how big the ginger is in the earth. And I think when you harvest the ginger, it's when it starts to flower, and I think that's when you harvest it. So we'll find out, because I cannot wait to see what this flower is going to look like. All right, now off to the watermelon. Look at the watermelon. It is just doing amazing, just amazing. Now I have two different varieties of watermelon in here. One is a Crenshaw and the other one is baby, sweet baby, or baby something. Let me think. Sugar baby. That's what it is. Sugar babies, and they're small little round ones. So those are doing so well. I mean, I cannot even believe how big it is. Now over here are the pumpkins and the winter squash, this spaghetti squash, and those are actually doing, you know, fairly decent. It looks like it's starting to, you know, die off a little bit. I did put some fertilizer in the soil just last week, so because it was kind of yellowing, so I just put some fish emulsion and the bat guano in there, and so we'll see how that does, if it's gonna help it out a little bit. All right, so over here we have our heirloom beefsteak tomatoes by Lake Valley Seed Company, and they have been doing so good. I am so pleased with this variety. I'm definitely going to plant them again next year. The tomatoes come out so perfect. I only split a couple of them because I think I overwatered them, and I'll know next time not to overwater, because if you overwater them, you have a chance of them splitting. So that's good to know. Now the hybrids, the beefsteak tomatoes that I grew on the other side next to the sun golds, those split very easily, so I might not grow those again, but these ones for sure. And they did not get a lot of pests, which was amazing. So now over here we have our cherry falls. Yes, these ones are our cherry. So over here we have our cherry falls, and these are amazing. Now I don't know, it's so crazy because these are determinate. I believe these are determinate, but they're still producing a ton of cherry tomatoes. So that's amazing. And I love this tomato for salsa. It tastes so good when you make it into salsa. So, and plus eating fresh, it's so sweet. So these have been my all-time favorite, but they do attract spider mites. But as you can see, it's kind of looking really pretty right now. I don't know what I did. I don't know if it just all of a sudden just had a second wind, but none of the pests are attacking it anymore, because this one was really getting eaten up by spider mites. So I don't know. That's a good thing. I don't know what happened, but it's made a comeback. Okay, so over here we have some jade beans, and I think it's just too hot for them because they have not produced anything. They have a bunch of little flowers. The bean is so tiny. I don't know if it's just too warm or what, and I don't know if this is my first time growing it, so I don't even know what to expect or what it's supposed to look like, or anything like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be this short, if it's supposed to be taller, but on the picture it looks like a vine, so I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so over here is our little lemon tree, and it is getting devoured by these petunias. But the petunias are so stinking beautiful. Look how beautiful and pink they are. I did not know they were gonna grow like this in this container. But this poor little lemon tree lost all of its blossoms to birds. The birds ate all of the blossoms. So what I ended up doing was I went to the local nursery to look for netting to protect, the blossoms. And the netting that I found was huge. They didn't have any little small pieces of netting. They're all huge pieces of netting. And I didn't need a lot of netting. So when I was leaving the nursery, I saw a little area where they had, stuff that you could use for your car, like paper and things like that. So I saw this and I thought, hey, this might work. This is something that you use when you transport trees to make sure the limbs don't get all out of control. You just, you just put this little thing over them. So what I did was I just grabbed some of it and it worked perfect, and I just slipped it over the little, lemon tree. So hopefully it grows some more blossoms, but nothing yet. I think maybe next year. All right, over here we have our pole cherries, and our pole cherries are doing really good. I mean, just the first couple of them. The back ones are not doing good at all. I did pull out quite a few. So these front ones are still producing some cherries. Not that many, but I think, eventually I'm going to be pulling these out soon as well. Now over here we have the shimmering hybrid, and the shimmering hybrid, oh my God, is amazing. The fruit is so juicy and sweet, and I love it. I cannot wait for next year. I'm going to plant these again. I'm going to save some seeds, and I'm definitely going to plant these shimmering hybrids again, because they were just, my gosh, they were my favorite. Besides the sun gold, they're my second favorite. All right, so now, let's see, did I show you everything? Oh, I did get rid of all the corn. The corn was not doing well, and I don't think next year I'm going to plant corn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy it from the store, because I don't know, this is the third year I've been growing corn, and I have yet been able to eat any of our own corn. There's just so many pests that love it, and it just doesn't grow good. So I don't know if I'm going to try it again. I say that now, and then when it comes growing season, I might try to grow some corn. But as for right now, my feeling towards corn is I don't want to start any more seeds. I just haven't had a really good success growing it. I see other people growing corn that looks amazing, but I don't know. It just doesn't grow well for me. So maybe I'll just stick with buying it from the farmer's market, because it's so cheap to buy from the, from other people. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the big garden. Now let's go off to the small garden, and I'll share with you what's going on in the small garden. Okay, so over here in the small garden, I was debating whether or not I wanted to replant in this garden again. Now this was my first garden that I ever started. And so, in the very beginning, when I first started planting things, I ended up just planting them right into the earth. But we have a really clay-like, I guess, soil. You wouldn't even call it soil. It's just clay-like dirt. And so the plants did not flourish as much as I wanted them to. So then I kept telling John, I really want to have, some raised beds. I think the plants would do better in the raised beds. And we just got so busy with work and, starting a new career, that he just didn't have time to build me some garden beds for in here. So out in the field, we had a bunch of wood. And what I did was I just hauled a bunch of wood over, and these little wood frames, and I just put them right here in the garden. So, and I actually raised them with brick. So it's not a really sturdy garden bed, but it's cute. And so, I don't know, I'm debating whether or not I want to put all of our commercial landscaping plants in this area and then just move these garden beds into the other bigger garden and keep all of the garden contained, or if I want to just keep it right here in the front, because it is so cute to see a garden right when you come in, and especially in front of the big barn. It just looks so cute. And I don't know, that's a tough decision, to either put it all in one place or keep it out front, because I do like it and we do harvest a bunch of vegetables from it, but it's more for like an ambiance, you know. So I don't know, that's something I need to think of. But I do want to plant some beans in this garden. So, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and plant the beans and see how they do, because I know I planted beans in this garden before and they did really well. So I'm going to try this garden bean tender green by Burpees, and this one is a 55-day harvest. So yeah, I'll have plenty of time. If I want to switch out the beds in the wintertime, I could just, I'll have plenty of time to maybe pull these out, harvest some beans, and yeah, and pull them out for the wintertime. So we'll see. So let's just get planting these garden beans. But first, let me just give you a little tour. So over here we have our strawberries. Now the strawberries never got big. They're just these tiny little guys, tiny little strawberries. They never really got huge. I don't know if it's the variety or what. All right, so over here we have our eggplant, and the eggplant is doing so well. So now this variety is a small little Thai eggplant. This is what it looks like. And you could put this in curries or stir fry or anything like that. They're delicious. And I also have some Kermit eggplant in here that are round, same color as these, but round. And you could do the same thing. You could stir fry them. You can put them pretty much in anything you want to use eggplant in. They're delicious. So over here we have some zucchini, and these are the I believe these are the same that are in the other garden. So those are doing super good. Now over here we have the red onion that my dad gave me, and I just popped them in there. Nothing from the blackberries yet at all. So hopefully maybe next year we'll have another chance at that. Now over here, look at these zinnias. They are so bright. I mean, but they're shading the garden. So many zinnias are so big that they are literally shading some of the plants. So I know I'm gonna have to come in here and trim them down a little bit, just so that way some of these plants can get some sun. So over here we have our Black Beauty zucchini by Burpees, and that's doing amazing. And then we have some more eggplant right next to it, and then some more onion. So over here we have an empty bed. This is where our corn used to be. And then we have 2 beds of onion, because we eat a lot of onion and garlic, and I did not plant enough garlic. So next year for sure I'm gonna plant a ton of garlic, so that way I could have garlic for everything. So this is the garden bed that I'm going to plant all of the beans. And yeah. Okay, so over here in this garden bed, it's the I've already mended it, and in this garden bed we had some yellow squash. Well, the yellow squash never did well. So what I ended up doing was I added a bunch of amendments in here, and yeah, and I just kind of fed the soil. So now hopefully these garden beans are gonna do well. All right, do not wait to get some of these garden beans. This is gonna be so exciting. Ooh, they're pretty. Look at that. So I'm probably just gonna do maybe 3. Yeah, I think that's good. 1. All right, and that's it. So easy. Planting food is so easy. I mean, planting it is easy. Preserving it is hard. So learning how to preserve is the hard part, because you just want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. But planting food is simple. And all you have to do is take the time and the patience to watch it grow. But I mean, once you put it in the dirt, it's hands off. Okay, so now we got that done. So now let's go off to, let's see. Right, so over here we have our edamame, and I mean, this is pretty much as big as it's gotten. We do have a couple little edamames on here, little seed pods, but I don't know if it's gonna, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna get bigger than this. I think the heat has just been really doing a number on a lot of these plants and, you know, I don't know, stunting them. I'm not too sure. This is my first time ever growing the edamame, so I'm not even really too sure how, if it's supposed to be like a bush or if it's supposed to be a vine. So right over here we have some more lemongrass, and it's doing really well. I just fertilized it, so we'll see if it's gonna bulk up in its stalk. Okay, so over here we have our little basil patch. We have some mint right here that I've had for quite some time now. And then we have our basil that I started from seed. This basil right here I ended up getting from the nursery, and it's doing super good. And then we have some big leaf basil in the back, and then over here we have our holy basil in the back here. Now here is our little Thai chili plant. It's actually doing pretty good, but the Thai chilies are so tiny, so I might just harvest a couple of them and see if they're spicy or not. I don't know if they're spicy or what's going on, because last year the Thai chilies were way bigger than this year, so we'll see. Maybe the frost, maybe something I had to do with it. I'm not too sure, because I thought the frost killed it. All right, so that is what is happening on the farm. We still have the roosters. The lambs are getting bigger and doing really good. Bella, our horse, our quarter horse, she's doing fantastic. Orange chicken is, you know, still doing good. He's our pygmy goat. So yeah, all of our animals are doing well, and we still have those roosters. So I cannot wait to find a new home for them. We don't know what we're gonna do with them, but they have been recently fighting with each other. It's the black one right there. And you know, mating with their hens, pulling out their feathers. So I do not want to have roosters, you know, pulling out the feathers of our hens. So I don't know, their days might be numbered soon. We might have to find a new home for them. But they're so sweet and they're so pretty. So yeah, I don't know, I'll let you know what we do with those guys, with those two. They're just so nice. I wish they weren't attacking our ladies. If they weren't attacking our ladies, then, and they weren't fighting with each other, I mean, that would be like perfect. Although they do crow all day long, and I do not want, oh look, we got a rogue hen. I gotta go and put back in the chicken coop. But yeah, we do not want these roosters to be fighting with each other or pulling out our ladies' feathers. So I'll let you know what happens to those guys, and hopefully everyone stays safe. Drink lots of water, stay cool. All right, take care, be safe. Thank you for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.